The final part of our discussion in electrostatics is on capacitors. Suppose we have two conductors with equal and opposite charges, plus Q and minus Q. Let us denote the potential on the conductor with charge plus Q as V plus and that on the conductor with negative charge as V minus. And we have seen that a conductor is an equipotential surface, that is, potential is constant over the conductor. Now, in that case, we can find the potential difference between these two plates as V equal to V plus minus V minus, which is equal to negative of integral starting from the conductor with negative charges and ending at the conductor with positive charges, then E dot dl. Now, what is E? By Coulomb's law, E is given by 1 over 4 pi epsilon 0 integral rho over script r square times r hat then d tau. We see that E is proportional to the charge Q. Therefore, V, the potential, is also proportional to Q. And the constant of proportionality is called the capacitance of the arrangement. That is, the capacitance of this arrangement is defined to be Q over V. The capacitance is purely a geometrical quantity that is determined by the size, shape, and separation of the two conductors. In SI units, the capacitance is measured in farads. And 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb over 1 volt. 1 farad is an inconveniently large value, and more practical units are microfarad, which is 10 raised to minus 6 farad, and picofarad, which is 10 raised to minus 12 farads. In the expression for the capacitor, that is Q over V, V is the potential of the positive conductor less that of the negative one. Likewise, Q is the charge on the positive conductor. Accordingly, the capacitance is always a positive quantity. Now let's do problem 20. Find the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor consisting of two metal surfaces of area A held a distance small d apart. So let us call this as plate A and this as plate B. If we put charges plus Q on plate A and minus Q on plate B, they will spread out uniformly over the two surfaces. For this to happen, the area has to be reasonably large and the separation has to be small. The surface charge density on the top plate is given by Q over A. To do this problem, our strategy will be to find out the potential between the two plates first, and then from this potential we can calculate the capacitance. Now, the potential difference between the plates is given by V equal to VB minus VA, which is equal to negative of integral A to B E dot dl. And this is a standard equation. And since VA is at a higher potential, this equation will be rewritten as VA minus VB equal to integral A to B E dot dl. And this is equal to integral 0 to D E dl. And this is equal to integral 0 to D sigma over epsilon 0 times dl, where sigma over epsilon 0 is a field due to the sheet carrying charge plus Q. And this is equal to sigma over epsilon 0 times L within the limit 0 to D, and this is equal to sigma d over epsilon 0. Now the capacitance is given by Q over V, and this is equal to Q over QD divided by epsilon 0A, and this is equal to epsilon 0A over D. So this is the expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor having plate area A held at a distance d apart. Problem 21. Find the capacitance of two concentric spherical metal shells with radii A and B. As drawn, we have two spherical metallic shells having radii A and B. Let us place a charge plus Q on the inner sphere and a charge minus Q on the outer sphere. The field between the spheres is given by E equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon 0 times Q over R square directed along the R hat direction. So the potential difference between them is equal to integral B to A E dot dl. And this is equal to negative of Q over 4 pi epsilon 0 integral B to A 1 over R square times dr, and this is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon 0 times 1 by A minus 1 by B. Now the capacitance is given by Q over V, and this is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 times AB over B minus A. We have seen that a capacitor consists of two conductors which are separated by a finite distance. So let us consider two such conductors, conductor 1 and conductor 2. How do we charge up the capacitor? To charge up the capacitor that is shown in this figure, we have applied the positive potential to plate 1 and the negative potential to plate 2. So when we do this, we will be removing electrons from the positive plate and carry them to the negative plate. So that builds up negative charges on plate 2 and positive charges on plate 1. The resulting electric field between these two conductors is also shown in this figure. So in moving an electron from plate 1 to 2, we will have to fight against the electric field which is pulling them back towards the positive conductor and pushing them away from the negative conductor. Let us now try to calculate the work to be done to charge the capacitor to a final amount capital Q. Suppose that at some intermediate stage in the process, the charge on the positive plate is Q, so that the potential difference is Q over C. The work that has to be done to transport the next piece of charge dq is dw equal to V times dq, and this is equal to Q over C times dq. The source of this expression is Vb minus Va equal to W over Q, which we have seen in some of the earlier discussions. Now, the total work necessary to go from Q equal to 0 to Q equal to capital Q is W equal to integral 0 to Q over C times dq, and this is equal to 1 over 2 Q square over C. But we have Q equal to C times V, and therefore W equal to 1 by 2 times CV square. So this work has to be done to bring an electron from the positive plate to the negative plate of the capacitor. Here, V is the final potential of the capacitor. Let's now do problem 22. Find the capacitance per unit length of two coaxial metal cylindrical tubes of radii A and B. So this problem is shown pictorially here. There are two concentric cylinders having radii A and B. Let us assume that the length of the cylinder is L. Our strategy to do this problem will be to find the electric field first. So that electric field will be existing between the two conductors, that is the inner conductor with radius A and the outer conductor with radius B. And once we have found out the electric field E, we will find out the potential, and then from that potential we can find the capacitance of this configuration. To find the electric field between the two coaxial metal cylindrical tubes, let us consider a Gaussian surface as shown in this figure. And for this Gaussian surface, the radius will be S. Now, according to Gauss's law, we have E dot dA equal to E times 2 pi S times L. So this is the total surface area of the Gaussian surface, and this will be equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed. And from this expression, we can write the electric field as equal to Q over 2 pi epsilon 0 L times 1 by S directed along the S hat direction. The second step is to find out the potential difference. The expression for the potential difference is VB minus VA equal to negative of integral A to B E dot dl. So this is equal to negative of integral A to B Q over 2 pi epsilon 0 times L times 1 by S hat, and this is equal to negative of Q over 2 pi epsilon 0 L times integral A to B 1 by S times ds, and this is equal to negative of Q over 2 pi epsilon 0 L and then natural logarithm of B over A.